As we have completed the first unit, that is electrostatics, this is the second unit, or you can say the third chapter, that is current electricity. So we have studied the properties of charges when they are at rest, but in reality the charges are always moving. For example, the electrons in a copper wire are never at rest and are continuously in random motion. Therefore, it is important to analyze the behavior of charges when it is at motion. So, the motion of charges is called electric current. Now, what is electric current? Now, see, matter is made up of atoms. Each atom consists of either a positively charged nucleus with negatively charged electrons moving around the nucleus. Atoms in metals have one or more electrons which are loosely bound to the nucleus. These electrons are called free electrons and can be easily detached from the atoms. So the electrons that are responsible for the flow of electric current are free electrons, or they are called valence electrons. The substance which have an abundance of these free electrons are called conductors. These free electrons move at random throughout the conductor at a given temperature. So when they are not connected to external electric field or external force, they are moving in random direction. In general, due to this random direction, there is no net transfer of charges from one end to the other end of the conductor. Hence, no current flows in the conductor. But when a potential difference is applied by the battery across the ends, these free electrons drift towards the positive terminal from negative towards the positive, producing a net electric current. So the factor responsible for flow of electric current is not only the flow of charges, but the main reason is potential difference, because when potential difference is there between the two ends, then only the charges drift from one end towards the other end. Now positive charge flows from higher electric to lower electric, and negative charge flow from low electric potential to high electric potential. So battery or cell simply creates a potential difference across the conductor. Thus electric current in a conductor is defined as rate of flow of charges through a given cross sectional area. Now this diagram can show how electrons are moving towards one end, from one end to the other end. If both ends of conductor are at equal potential, suppose water is at equal height, there will be no flow of water. But if there is a difference in the height of water level, the water would be flowing. Same thing happens with conductor also. If there is a wire C, both ends are free, so they are at equal potential, so no current would be flowing. But if I connect these ends to a battery, to positive terminal and negative terminal, there would be a potential difference between the two terminals and the current would be flowing in the wire AB. So if a net charge Q passes through any cross section of a conductor in time t, then current is defined as I is equal to Q by T. You already know this formula, as electric current was discussed in class 10th also. So I is equal to Q by T, but charge flow is not always constant. Hence current can more generally be defined as I average is equal to delta Q by delta T, where delta Q is the amount of charge that passes through conductor at any cross section during a time interval delta T. The SI unit of current is ampere. And how can you define 1 ampere? A formula is I is equal to Q by T. So 1 ampere is equivalent to 1 coulomb of charge passing through cross section in 1 second. And electric current is scalar quantity. However, we take direction of current, that is conventional direction of current, that is from positive terminal to the negative terminal. So as direction is conventional, that's why electric current is a scalar quantity.